got time to deal with your problems. I'm busy with other people's shit.
The qualms that happen in lockdown.
But yeah, day 2 and we're already like trying to kill one another. Oh, this does not work well.
It's day 1 and it's already blown up here. So, well, it's not even day 1. It's,
yeah, how
it's
are you guys?
7 hours into it. I don't know. Like it's, it'll be interesting to see how people deal with it. I think it's just a crazy mentality that people are like, well, you're getting told all you have to do is stay home for 4 weeks, but we know we're kind of getting lied to as well, because I guarantee it's not going to be 4 weeks. So I think people are like, I went to the supermarket last night and like the whole entire wine section was gone. Like, every mum in New Zealand or in Wellington right now is sitting at home doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, just absolutely totaled on like being hungover as shit. I love it. Yeah, it's the same over here. Like, people are just fucking idiots. It's like you're told to stay 2 meters away from one another and don't go out unless you have to. And literally on Sunday, which is why we've gone into these semi-lockdown conditions, every knobhead and his kid decided the sun was out and we're all going to go down the beach. Like, there were just pictures of people swamping everywhere. It's like, are you fucking retarded? It's like the coronavirus didn't take a day off because the sun came out. I was like, you know what, guys? You know what? You've had a shit couple of months in England with all these storms. The sun comes out. I'm going to go sit down for a bit. You get your sun in and I'll come back tomorrow. Like, fuck.
It's did you see the Bondi video?
Yeah, I mean, same thing happened over here. First day of sunshine, which is typical. We're on a lockdown and the sun comes out, and everyone in England was like, "Oh, I ain't not gonna get some fucking sun because of coronavirus. Come on, son, let's go down the beach. We'll sort it right out." Like, no, Jesus Christ. Oh, I can't.
Yeah, it's just a crazy thing that people aren't taking it seriously. I'm like, your relatives went to war. Like, we have to sit at home for 14 days. I mean, 4 weeks, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of like technological advances we have now, it's not going to be a hard task.
Yeah, like nothing really changes for me. I still don't really know what day it is. I still just do the same amount of work. I still don't leave the house.
Yeah, like all I've done so far is lucky. I've actually had a bit of a touch. My client that I go see for MS in the mornings, his other guy that sees him and their carer can't come over. So they said, well, we've got an extra 250 quid for the next 2 weeks that we need to use. Do you want to come over 6 days a week and we'll pay you instead? I was like, that's a touch, could do with some of that. So there's that. 2 of my clients, we've just done video stuff and I've adapted it to that. So they're good. My online client, she has put 30 days notice in, but she's still got 4 weeks worth of payments left. So it's not too bad at the moment, because if I can just because we've got the end of the challenge coming up, and because it's weird. If you'd asked me maybe a week ago with things not being locked down, I probably would have thought I would have converted a few of them. I've probably definitely got 2, which isn't a bad thing. So, no. I mean, that's still extra income that sorts everything out. So it's just sort of moving forward. I did some more of the slides for the webinar over the weekend, but with everything going on and trying to organise what the fuck I'm going to do with my business and stuff, I'm not going to lie, it did like suck at my soul, like keep making them. But they are coming along. I've only got the last, there's not many left. I think I've got maybe like 6 or 7 slides to do, and then it'd just be a case of trying to put it together with a recording, and then it'll be good to go. So.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the thing is, it's always going to get, we just have to be okay with this kind of side of things getting on top of us. It's going to annoy us. There's going to be things that we can't control. There's going to be things that are going to be out of our control. So it's really bringing it back to like what things that we can actually do and what we can look forward to going forward. So it's more about, focusing on the fact that, okay, well, we need to start advertising for our new challenge now, because you've already done one successful one. So that should be on the forefront now. So then what you need to do there is go, okay, well, if we can get 2, then that's income. But the next challenge, what can we do differently to try and make sure that we maybe get 3 or 4? Because there's no reason why all of those people shouldn't sign up with you, because by the sounds of it, they all love you as a coach, right? So it's our responsibility, and this is a weird consumption, it's our responsibility to make sure they realize that they have to sign up to us. Not being forceful, not being, anything other than what we're normally doing. But, you will probably lose more in this challenge than you would normally just because of the circumstances.
Right.
But I don't like I said, if I said to you when we started the challenge, hey, you're guaranteed to get 2 people, every single time you put your hand up and say, yeah, sweet. Because, if we do this every single month, there's 2 new clients, and then all we have to do is figure out, okay, well, webinars, maybe a giveaway of some sort. Then you've got 2 other ones, and then you're looking at, say, if we get 2 out of those 2 challenges, there's 6 clients a month.
Yeah.
Right. So look at it from that logistic point, and don't just say, okay, well, I'm only getting 2, because it's not that you're saying that, but it's just we can fall into that conundrum of saying, oh, I'm only getting 2, I'm only getting 2, I'm only getting this much, because we have so much more pressure on ourselves now. And this is why I said to you guys, like, I'm here if we want to do a group chat every Wednesday night, whatever you need to do, now that I've got an actual system now, because I had to go out of my office and all this kind of stuff. So now that I'm here and now that I'm ready, like, it's more about making sure that you guys aren't eating yourself up inside, because it does happen. Like, you get to that point and you're like, fuck, man, like, it's just 4 weeks of this whole shit, because again, we can't leave. Like, we can once a day, but we can't really leave. And it's kind of a weird conundrum that you put yourself in. So it's about realizing that there will be an end date to this, but how much better are we going to be at the end date because of the fact that we have our online platform? Imagine going into it and we had nothing there as well. So, we've got 2 clients. We've nearly finished our webinar slides, so that can be started probably advertising on Monday, I would say, right? Start advertising that. You've got that platform that you can use that we can even use the lead magnet that I created for you quickly. The 2 things that will probably change is the fact that your book, it'll be a book rather than a circle. That's the only thing that'll change on that landing page, because it just looks a little bit better. But apart from that, what else, before we get into everything, anything else that's stir crazy? Anything else that's on your mind?
No, I mean, it's been a bit, the weirdest thing is like not getting up and traveling the places, not going to the gym and coming back and then doing this and doing that. I've told my clients that I see, we're going to keep everything the same as normal, because I want to keep their routine as good and my routine, to be fair, as good as possible. Like, if I wasn't seeing Dave at 8 o'clock every morning, I could sleep in till 10 o'clock every day. And then I'm on the back foot, because I'm like, well, then I don't really want to do anything else. I've been going live every midday. Obviously making videos up. I've got a live Q&A on my gym's social media tonight. I'm doing a live on my social media Q&A tomorrow, and then on Instagram on Friday. So I've staggered them out so everyone can get a chance to do it. I've been making videos. Obviously, you saw the one I put out last night. I've recorded the video. I'm starting to record the videos to accompany the home workouts that I've done for the Wonder Woman Challenge, so they'll be able to go and have a reference point. So I've done that first one today. Awesome. So I'm getting shit done. It's just those moments where they would normally be filled up with travel or a workout and stuff, or because my kids aren't here right now, they're away. So it's like all these little things that would normally pad out my day aren't there, and you kind of start thinking, "Fuck, what do I do now?" But
because when it gets to that, like, this is super important. Like, me being the fact that I know how it is being online, like full online, because you just went from kind of like, hey, I'm putting my foot in it, I'm dipping my toe into it, I'm getting good results. Now it's like, hey, I just pushed into the deep end, have fun swimming, right? So what you have to realize is that's like, online is very much about routine. So you have to do you have to do it, but it's like, you wake up, what do you do for yourself? Then you start your day, then you do all your work, then something for yourself, and then work again, or whatever you need to do. So you still have to double down on the things that you have to do personally. Otherwise, it just gets in your head and it gets really kind of overwhelming. So what are you doing for yourself?
Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of what I was getting at. I mean, it's a little bit different because I don't have the kids at the moment. So when they're around, they're going to be a really good distraction, because then we can go like teach them things. We can do like, whatever the work they want to do. I'm not going to bother sticking to the curriculum, because I don't know what the fuck they're teaching the kids anyway. I'll teach them what I want. But I mean, so in the morning, I'll do my usual bit. I'll go and see Dave. I come back, make myself some breakfast, schedule my day. And then, I mean, today I did one of the workouts that I did the video for, one of the home workouts. And I was like, I am so unfit. I haven't done anything over 5 reps in like 4 months. What the fuck is this cardio shit? Like, dying. I still do. What I've kind of done is tried to keep my routine as sort of in check as possible. So I'm still eating breakfast when I'd eat breakfast. I'm still seeing clients that are still staying on when I see them. At midday, I do my live video, and then I start my check-ins with everybody. Like, I've ramped up my check-ins with all my clients anyway. I've ramped up my check-ins with the challenge girls to try and show them, like, there's more support to be had if you want it. And then come sort of 3-4 o'clock, which is normally my downtime because it's when I have the kids. I've just been doing that. I've been jumping on the PlayStation again. I've been doing what I normally do.
Cool.
And stuff like that. So my routine hasn't really changed. It's just not being in certain places that's a bit different. I mean, if the weather continues to keep going the way it's going, then what I may do is just pump up my paddle board, and on my 1 hour I'm allowed out, I'll go and social distance 100 meters out in the water, because any fucker ain't going to come near me. I'm like, haha, I've done it better than all of you. So, but
it's just super important, and I'm going to check in a lot more on that side of things, because it is vital that you don't get overwhelmed for effectively no reason, right? Because at the end of the day, little things become massive things if we don't talk about things as well. Cool. Okay. So the first thing we want to make sure is we're starting to advertise again for that challenge. So I know it seems like we're doing two things at once. We are effectively, we're getting ready for the Zoom webinar, but we're also making sure our bread and butter of the the challenge, the 30-day challenge, is going to get remarketed, because we don't want to get to the end of the challenge and then realize we've got this window of nothing. So what I would suggest doing is probably redoing, if you have any photos, testimonials, anything you have social proof right now, no big deal if you don't, we can always add them later. I would then start advertising as of Monday, and then maybe even do 2 posts in one day about 2 different events. Because I just think the more events and the more things that people can get excited for, the more traction and more eyes you're going to get on your products. I mean, you're getting eyes on your stuff anyway, but what I'm saying is that if you said to someone, hey, I'm doing a challenge that starts in 2 weeks, right, which is something to look forward to, but I'm also doing a Zoom maybe next week, the following week when that's live. We only need a week for the webinar to be advertised anyway, maybe 2 if we want to. But you could also start the challenge and do also the webinar back to back. So like on Monday, this challenge starts, the Tuesday, the webinar goes live. Whatever you want.
So can I just pause 1 second? My other half's trying to call me. She tried to call me earlier. You all right, Daniel? What's up? Okay, check-in done. Another bloody check-in. That's all I'm doing at the moment.
Everything okay? All good?
Yeah. She's had to basically shift her entire office of 20 computers to 20 people's homes so they can still run as a company. And it's just been people being knobheads, going, well, as I'm still, because the company that my other half works for were very nice to basically tell everybody to go home and get a full pay for 4 weeks.
Yep.
So, I mean, they didn't have to do that, but, it's like, oh, wow, I'm getting full pay for doing nothing anyway. So I'll start when that changes. My boss like, no, we need you now. You take the opportunity, or you don't get it. And then in the end, she was just like, no, just stop being an arsehole. Like, you either help or you don't. And then one of them's like, well, as I'm working from home, who's going to pay for the extra energy that I'm going to be using and the Wi-Fi? And I'm like, go fuck your damn self. Like, no, like, I tell you what, stay at home on 80% of your wages, because right now I think I'm entitled to like something stupid like fucking £94 a week if I go for statutory sick pay. I'm like, you know what? I'll take your wages for it. I'll do your fucking job and my job. How's that?
It's so stupid, bro. Like, I have so many people that are working from home, and I know so many people that are just taking advantage of the system. I'm just like, it's an honest joke. Like, they don't have to actually give you anything. Like, this is unprecedented. Like, they don't have to give you money, and companies definitely don't have to pay you. This is not in your contract. This doesn't exist.
Yeah. the fact that they even like so many people have been laid off, and the fact that you haven't is like a massive thing right now. So maybe you just keep your mouth shut, keep your head down, and you might survive it.
Yeah, for sure, for
Like
sure. Okay.
now is not the time to put that light bulb above your head for being a dickhead and like show everybody exactly who you are. Like no, you take that dickhead bulb and you chuck it in the drawer. That doesn't come out now.
Yeah, it's just nuts, man. Like, and I just think it's shown. I saw this. What was the saying? I think one of the biggest quotes that I like so far is it's what's it called? It's where is no? I put it in someone's chat yesterday. It's like Warren Buffett's saying. Is it still here? No. It's like when the tide goes out, you truly see who's naked and who's dressed or whatever. I can't remember the saying of it.
Yeah.
But it's such a evidence of who people really are when something like this happens. Like your bosses, your company, your coaches, your people, your friends, your family. And like that PT page is just a prime example. Like just utter like.
Is it not eating itself alive right now? And it's just,
but it's
I dip in and out. I saw that you posted in there and just gave everybody a follow, and it was like, oh, that's so amazing. I bet the others were like chewing at this point. Like,
yeah.
Well, you know, it's just like, yeah, because you've been fucking calling everybody else out for being parasites and like trying to find opportunities in his home workouts. You're doing the same thing. Phil Graham's daily ambiguous chat that tells you absolutely fuck all to help you. But because it sounds really profound, everyone's like, oh, thanks so much for your help, Phil. For what? For what? He's just said, oh, don't act like this. Act like that. Well, obviously that was the case because the other way is what Mongs do. And are you a Mong? I should hope not. Otherwise, don't be a PT. Like,
I just got sick of people saying, hey, here's a free trial or here's 7 days or here's 30 days. I'm like, these are people's livelihoods. Like I would take the jersey off my back and send it to one of you guys if you needed it.
Jamie Alderton, here's what I used to do all my video things, and right now it's only £15 a month. Fuck you, £15 a month. Like nobody has that. Like,
no, exactly. It's just a joke, bro. I'm just gonna like that was only a teaser. I just wanted to see how many people would opt into it, bro. I'm doing that weekly because it's just like it doesn't cost me anything but time, and I've got plenty of time between calls, so it's no big deal. Cool. Okay, so the challenge is starting. What do you think? A reflection point on the challenge. What do you think we could do better? What do you think we could do more of? What do you think was kind of like a looking back on the whole process? Is it something you can see you doing all the time, or is it something that you're going to get frustrated with? This is the biggest thing for you as well, because like I said, there's plenty of ideas for us to do, but what I don't want to do is I want to keep things simple, right? Because simple gets results and simple doesn't confuse a buyer. So if we know that the challenge is going to give you 2 clients, which it will, we know that every time you do it, and especially now that so many people are on, the biggest thing that we're going to be fighting against is reach, right? Like I said, like my client is freaking out because I do all the socials, and if her reach is halved, no difference in quality or quantity, literally just because there's so many people on the platform, Facebook just can't post to everyone. So the biggest battle that we're going to have is trying to get eyeballs on the product and eyeballs on the challenge, or just eyeballs on you. So the first thing I want to also mention is that just because you're doing the same things you're doing now, you will probably not get as much reach naturally. You probably won't get as many people watching. You probably won't get as many people engaging. And that's not you and your product. And it's not something to be worried about. It's just something we have to combat. And I'm getting ideas and ways to do it. So the biggest thing that we can try and do against the algorithm is do things that are naturally non-engagemental. So for instance, do we try and get people to a group now instead of a Facebook event? Because that way we can then post in the group more and then take the engagement away from Facebook, which is one of the strategies that I'm working with now, because Facebook don't have a limit on how many posts you can obviously get engagement with in groups, and it goes naturally to everyone in that group. So if we do the whole, here's the 30 days, put them into a group and then start, kick the people that don't do the challenge out, then also it's like abundance. They have all these things before the challenge. They have the group, they have the community, they have the messages. And then all of a sudden when the challenge starts and they haven't paid you, see you later, mate. So it's kind of like we're taking something away from them already, where like maybe a Facebook event page or whatever we did before would kind of work, but it's also very dependent on engagement and also reach, which are 2 things that are very, very scarcity right now. So I wouldn't, the only thing I would change is try and change maybe that system. If we need to, we can test it. um, uh, you know, at the end of the day, that's the biggest thing, that I'm making sure that the process is going to work for you, and you're not going to sit there and say, why is this not working? So that's the biggest thing that we can try and focus on. But apart from that, is there anything else that you would want to change?
I don't know, because I don't really have anything to reference it from. This is the hard thing. It's like, this is the first online thing that I've done. And I think, the feedback I've had, bar that one person who, I said from the off, it was the Polish lady, like the one that hasn't really engaged, hasn't got back to me. And, she's like, oh, it was, obviously you saw the reply I gave her. I wasn't being rude. I'm like,
no, but the thing is, I was, if anyone did that to me, I'd be the same. And I was going to message you personally about it, but you came to your conclusion. You answered it perfectly anyway. But there is no fucking way that you're giving anyone money back if they give that bullshit of an excuse.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, you know what? If everybody had turned around and said, this is really throwing me out, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but everybody else just knuckled down and got it done. I understand that you were in the first week, and actually that should have helped you lose weight because you were sick. Like, all you had to do was lose 5 pounds. Like, yeah. Shit, it's like, it is the most basic, easy. I foolproofed it for you because I wanted you to do well on it. And it was more like with everybody else, one who would have carried on, she can't because she has no job and they're living off her other half's wages and it's a bit tight around. I get that, but she's one that will jump in later on. Like, as soon as this blows over, she's bang on it again. Like, because I've done a lot of work with her. The one that I talked to today, I keep telling her now that we're going to go the next 4 weeks. She's already knows that I've already explained that that's what we're going to go and do. And my other one, who just gets to work from home on full pay, she's going to carry on because she's done lots of work and stuff. We can look at doing things more intimately. And I basically ramped it up in this last week about the check-ins they get, to show them basically this is exactly what you're getting. And once this challenge is over, if you decide that you don't want to carry on, or you just want to do one more week, it will disappear because it has to, because I can't keep doing this with everybody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, for her, I was just like, you know what, I'll be civil and explain, like, you of all people should understand that I am definitely in this situation. I am effectively out of a job at the moment because this is the first online thing I do. And in the nicest possible way, there were terms and conditions at the beginning. Had the coronavirus not been on, you still wouldn't have got your money back, because that's kind of what you signed into. You knew what the deal was. You knew what you had to do. It was very simple. If you need to go to Boots and weigh yourself during the lockdown, do it after you're grabbing some prescriptions or some shit. Boots is still open. Get yourself a set of scales. Everybody else has managed it. So, it is what it is. But yeah, in regards to things changing, I honestly don't know. I think
cool. No, that's fine. Normally you get it's completely fine if you don't want. I don't think you need to change anything. But my biggest goal is to make sure you're mentally and physically actually connecting with what you want to do, because this is going to be the 4 weeks, right? We don't have anything to do, so it's like we want to double down on things. So I don't want you doing things that are just going to get you frustrated and annoyed. It's just not productive for our time. So that's fine. We park that. We just do the exact same process. Maybe the only thing we change is take it away from Facebook events and put it to a Facebook group. Just link the group instead of the page, because if they're going into the group, first of all, they're probably going to be more committed than going to a page and saying going. But also you can then remarket them off Facebook. The biggest thing I want you to do and start twisting off to do, and you'll start seeing differences from people as well, is that if you're posting on Facebook, try and post in groups, not on pages, which sounds retarded. But because there's such a scarcity for engagement, we're trying to do the whole, effectively the mentality is that it's the home workout mentality. Like, everyone's posting about home workouts. You're posting something different. You're suffering because all these idiots are posting the same shit.
Yeah.
So it's not, the thing is, I want you to make sure you're getting to the most people. And the best way we can possibly do that is trying to grow our groups at the moment. I think it's the biggest, easiest direction as well. But again, we can still post as much as you're doing on the pages. Just if you want heaps of really good quality, like those videos, like I'd almost say those videos are sometimes too good to be free. So they should be maybe in a group that is like a VIP group, a challenge group or whatever, because those people deserve to see that. I think there's still the tire kickers that are watching your content and they're just getting away with fucking murder. So like, it's about making sure that you realize the value of what you're talking about and who you are. And then we can obviously transition that as well. I think still do exactly the same. Don't change anything, but always have that assumption. Can I make a group? Can I make a link? Can I do something better in a group? and then take it away from Facebook. It's like Mark Zuckerberg clicks his fingers, engagement's gone. You don't have any power in that. You do in groups. So it's about making sure that we can take things back into control.
And this is the thing when we said about infrastructure and stuff, and like that being my biggest kind of anchor to my progress and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've got to know, like every phone call I've had has been great. You know, the one that Nicola, who's going to definitely carry on, she's like, I didn't think I'd like phone calls, but I like how you listen, and I'm being, you know, I feel like I'm being listened to. I feel like that when I tell you something, you're generally taking it on board, you're thinking about it, and you're giving me answers and stuff like that. So I have no problem with the actual performing once they've got them in, but I don't know the difference between a page and a group. Like you saying about the difference in engagement stuff,
cool.
All of that stuff, it's just like, I didn't know there was a difference. Like, I thought my page was basically a group. I didn't realize there was a difference. This is the bit that once I understand this bit, I think things are going to really jump out, because it's the one thing I don't get. Like the whole.
All right, sweet. I'll make content for it.
I was going to say, like later on down the line, it's going to be something that like we'll look into, like me paying the extra bit on top for you guys to do, because it's kind of like with James Smith. I'm the front man. I make the content, I do the stuff, but you talk to me about the actual inner runnings of it, and I'm just like, yeah, I guess so. Like I don't know what to say. Yeah, these are just noises now leaving your face.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like yesterday, I spent the whole entire day moving into my mate's place because like my office got closed, which had the perfect internet connection. My parents' place had like shitty internet. So yesterday I spent the whole entire day. Who does that for an internet connection? But I'm like, this is my bread. Like I have to have an internet connection. Like I can't. Like I've made my business on a 5 megabit connection for the majority of it when I don't have an office. So the thing is, it's like you don't need to understand that, and it's the biggest thing you need to get across as well. Just realize that it's a filler until you can do something else. But literally, like if that's what I would say also is every single week, I think you should message me something like a 4 or 5 lists of things saying this, I don't know this, and this, but we don't want to spend time in our call going over it, and let me create content for it, because that's what the module's for. That's what the membership is for. I want to, like, I'm happy to shoot. And this is why I take Monday and Friday without calls, because then I can shoot content for you guys. But if you don't tell me what you don't want, like, I'm not going to come up with things that I think are the problems, because like I said, if I come up with something, it's still over your head anyway. So you don't have to use it. So I can go shoot a video, like what's a page versus what's a group and which one's going to be best. And then I'll make a video out of it. It's pretty simple. So that's cool. I can do that for sure. But if you message me that as well, then we can make sure that's in the membership side next week. But again, it's just that little tweak. You know, you've got a business page, which is effectively your CV, and then your group is actually who you are. Right? Just think about it like that. You know, the business page, the business page is like your first date, and then the third date, fourth date kind of relationship is when the group is. It's like you have to be this kind of person on a business page, but you don't necessarily have to give out so much value on that page because of the fact that we're running into such an engagement and reach problem at the moment. If that changes, we can go back to normal. But again, it's just having that. I wouldn't change anything now because I don't want you to stop doing the things that are working. But just in the back of your mind, think that's the transition that we're going to make, because we need to start taking things off the main front of everything and then giving people it once they've gone into a group, because again, we just don't want to deal with tire kickers, and it's just a waste of time, especially that client that you had to face with effectively as a tire kicker. And if we do it wrong, you'll probably have more of those than you would have really good clients, which is, this is why I'm super critical about who I bring onto my program. And, this is why I only work with a small amount of people. I'd rather take a pay cut than work with tire kickers. So it's a big thing for me as well. So that's cool. So we've got the challenge, we've got the webinars. Are you comfortable with both of those advertising wise? Any questions about that?
No, because the Wonder Woman challenge for recycling it is the same as last time. Cheers, by the way. That's it. #ad. So the Wonder Woman challenge is just do it the same. So we're going to run it again because we had really good success with the last one. And go from there. That's pretty straightforward because I'll have testimonials from, probably 5 out of the 6, and I'm pretty sure Magda's not going to be too happy about it, but tough shit. And the webinar, once I've got the slides done and figure out how, so this is what I was going to say. Do you have that the webinar that I'm doing my slides off and like sequencing? Do you have the actual video of how you spoke on it? Because that's what I'm confused about at the moment. I don't know how to talk and flitter in and out.
I literally just made a so I've made maybe I haven't made it on the membership site yet. I just want to check if I've actually I just shot one yesterday.
Okay.
But I just haven't made it in the. So the thing with the webinar is that I had it in one of my old funnels, but it was on my other account. But how to use webinars? I think I have this in my. I did shoot one because I knew this question would come up. But it's more about how you use the slides rather than how you talk, because the biggest thing I don't tell people to do is how they talk, because you're very much a different person when you talk versus me. But the slides you can just edit to how to use webinars. So yeah, that'll be up now that I've got a decent internet connection. That'll be up probably as of now. Actually, I could probably do that now. And then I'll link that to the membership portal. So as of the end of this call, I would say it'll be finished. It'll be uploaded. Yeah, it's about 5 minutes. So 5 minutes and it'll be uploaded. So then that's just going to be what I mean by what I do on the webinar. And you'll notice that a lot of the stuff in the webinar is just repeating it over and over again, because remember, we have to bring up a point 3 to 9 times or 6 to 9 times to make a connection with the audience. So it's not about coming up with all this new stuff. And in fact, I really conveniently, all I make you do is actually give up three slides about the actual event that they're doing. The rest is actually bringing up points in which this is your ideal client. So if we were to go over them again, you see the benefit 1, benefit 2, benefit 3. You would just bring that up about the specific topic of that webinar. So each webinar you're doing different topics, there would be 3 main things, right? The hooks, and then all of a sudden it's hook, story, offer. Hook, story, offer. The hook is like discover 3 ways that mums all around the world are losing weight by doing this exact thing, right? It's a hook. A story is going through the whole entire thing about the 3 benefits, the background story of me, the background story of what I've done, all these other things. Then the offer is going through and saying, here's benefit 1, benefit 2, benefit 3, but it's just recycling the information. So not only are you having to come up with 30 new slides every time, you're just coming up with 6 or 7 different points. You talk about the whole webinar, but it's got the offer at the end, because no one's there. The biggest thing that people get confused about is, yes, you want to be adding value in a webinar, but at the end of the day, you want to be converting them, just like on a first date, to make sure you can have more conversations with them afterwards.
Right.
Because if you give them everything in a webinar, just like if you tell them everything in a title, why would they come back to you? Because they've got the answer. So it's a hard thing being a coach and you saying, okay, I want to give them all the information, but also you've also got to say, well, I'm the best person for them to get more information regularly all the time. So why would I give them everything now? So when you're looking at those slides, it's about realizing that the way that I've structured it is meaning that I'm not giving them everything. I'm just giving them a tease. And for them to get more, they can come have a call with me afterwards.
Yeah.
Just like how I could take a massive risk by making you go away and come back for a second call, where a lot of the time people sell on the first call, but with me, I risk it and say, hey, I'm going to make you go away and do some things because actually it's adding more value to you.
Yeah. And it makes them buy in, because if they don't put the effort in to do that bit, then you already get an idea of whether they're going to do any extra for you anyway.
Exactly. And the difference, like even you see in the PT post, I gave everything away, right? But also I didn't actually sell to them. I didn't do everything that anyone else is doing. So when you do a webinar, they go in there expecting to be sold to, but actually what you're doing is fixing a problem and then saying, hey, here's something you can do.
Yeah.
So it's about going through those things and realizing that it's like the scripts, right? You probably go off the scripts now. You probably don't go to them 100% because you've got your kind of understanding, but they're there if you need it. The same thing, a webinar. People pay attention to your voice, not the slides. What you're saying in the webinar is more important than what's on the slides. The same reason why if you get a presentation and like you do a presentation in person, you should never be reading off the slides. And this is what that webinar kind of cycles teaches you to do. There's 32 slides, but realistically, it should take you double the amount of time because you'll go off on tangents just like you do with the videos and the amazing things that you do, which is awesome. It's what I do. But as long as you bring it back, it's fine. Like we do on the podcast, right? We go off the cuff all the time. It's about doing that and realizing you don't have to have everything scripted. It's more about having the slides there to give a cue for that person, but also the story that you're telling, the hook story offer is more important than what's on the slides. So don't put everything on the slides, just put little things like I've done. A lot of people questioned about it. I'm like, well, I tell them what's actually important. What's on the slides is just to give them a visual cue.
Yeah.
Makes sense? But yeah, like
sure.
I said, that video will be up. It's done now, so it'll be up and linked to the page, and it should be done by the time we finish this call. Watch that, because I go over everything and I give you a little bit more in depth. But again, I don't want you to feel like I'm just giving you a video like Phil does. If you do have questions about it, let me know, and I can just personally break it down for you. Or I can kind of send you my old stuff if you want to. I've got videos of my old webinars, but it's a little bit different before I formulate it into like a modular thing. So like it'll give you a good example of how I go through things, but I don't offer in those webinars because they were just kind of things that I was trialing out when I was first starting. I mean, these are like 5 years ago, but it'll give you a good example. So I can give you those as well. I'll give you a few links, but other than that, it's really about, what do you want to offer in the webinar in terms of your offer, like at the end, and then just trying to practice, right? Like whether what we do is on the weekend or something where we've got some free time, all three of us, because all three of us are going to go through these things. And then, I present a webinar, Alex presents a webinar, you present a webinar. We do like a masterclass, right? We do like a little workshop on the weekend that's extra to whatever we do. And maybe we start doing that, because I'm trying to think of what value I can add more for you guys. If we pick one thing that you guys want to get better at, and then we all test each other, or we just spend more time together, me and you, we run over at role play, I think that's the best thing we can get done.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm quite happy to do that. Like I can't leave the house. So like I want to add more and more and more. So if we can think of something like that, then that's cool. But if that's too time restrictive and that's too much kind of commitment, then that's fine. No big deal. It's just about really realizing that it's not just you watching a video to get a result. I want you to feel like I can walk you through that side of things as well. But it's realistically, like I said, it's giving you the bare bones of everything, but then you can put your sauce onto it. And there's no real wrong way of doing a webinar. Even if you don't sell in the webinar, it's still practice. And you've still got the leads from the ones that have signed up. So don't put heaps of pressure on it. It's just another video. It's just another presentation that you've done on YouTube. No difference at all.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's the thing. Like the delivery, it's more the logistics of it. Like, so obviously I've been doing it on Zoom, and I'd have to figure out the whole screen share. It's that side of thing. Like the talking, I understand that the slides are cue cards. They're like, so this popped up, I'm going to talk about this. This pops up, talk about this. What, obviously, and the video will explain that. It's like, what I don't understand is how to show people the slide while I'm talking. That's the kind of, this is what I mean. This is the dumbass shit that I'm going to ask you to do, because I get the concept, and I completely understand that these slides are cue cards to prompt the next set of conversation stuff. What I don't understand is how I'm going to show somebody a slide, talk over it, and then get back to me. Though that's the sort of stuff that I'm fucking retarded.
Yeah, so
with. Like,
what the easiest thing, and I completely agree with you. Two things: you want to control things that are non-variable. So there's things that can't be, like for instance, if you're on a webinar and let's say your children run out in the background, what can we do to minimize the effect of reality hitting you, right? Because you've got a family, you've got environments and all that kind of stuff. So what I would do is I would sit in and say, okay, well, let's say if I brought these slides up. Webinar slides, there we go. It's going to open in PowerPoint. Let me just open this. So what I would do is I would conveniently just make my whole entire system around just these slides. So I would record the whole thing just like this. So this is exactly what people see, because all they're going to do is most likely listen to your voice, not your face. They're not going to watch you, and they're there to see the result. So what I would suggest doing, you can trial it both ways. Literally, it's simply saying, okay, well, if I don't want to share my screen, stop. If I want to share, I can record it again if you want to, but it's just simply like that. But again, I don't like doing things that are variable. So for instance, if it's lagging, if your internet connection or whatever, it's making sure that we can control as many variables as possible. So I would just present the whole entire thing like this. And then all you're doing is going down, clicking on here, making sure you're just doing bam, 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 bam. But you can see I'm still talking, like blah, 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 blah. Like so literally it's like a PowerPoint presentation that you would do in class, but all we're doing is putting it on Zoom, and we call it a fancy name like a webinar.
Yeah.
So literally you record this like we're recording our call now. All I'm doing is moving through the slides. If I have a tangent, I'll stop on this slide and then talk about it. Most webinars, some webinars don't even have a face attached to it. I've been in webinars before that they don't even show themselves. So don't feel like you have, I know it's a little bit weird, but some people like that. Again, the most important thing to make sure is that if you're sitting here like this, it's probably actually better than sitting like this. Because then as soon as you do this, all they're looking at is you. And it's like, which one's going to be more valuable? Which one can they, get lost in terms of they can probably read some more content, they can probably see as well. And most importantly, if you share your screen and you go to the webinar, they're going to look at the bottom left-hand corner and see there's 32 slides. So they're like, fuck, this is mean value. Like, this is why, again, I do all these little things that are programmed into it. I make sure that people can see that there's three slides of 32. Even if you want to do this, you can go play from the start and you can actually do it like this, right?
Yeah.
That's probably maybe a little bit better as well. You can go through and do whatever you need to do. But there's all these little variables that you need to understand. And there will be technical issues. There will be technical problems. And there will be things that allow yourself to, like I just lost the conversation there, right? Like I was just like, I don't know where the screen went. So you've got things that you're going to get better at doing. And I've been on webinars before and things have not worked. And I've been on webinars that I've had hundreds of sign up and 0 turned up. So, and I acted like it was nothing. And I just did it like it was a training run. So, there's always things that are going to pop up that you can't control. It's about how we can control as many variables as we can possibly control. So, again, the videos there.
Just as a quick one, just because I want to see if I can do it my end, so I have a rough idea while you're here. So if I literally go share screen, that one, so you can see my slides now.
Yep, I can see exactly what you saw before. Yep, perfect.
Okay, sweet. So so if I do this and I click on that, and then
perfect,
I could just do that and talk.
Unreal. These are awesome.
Over. Got to get my man Robert Downey Jr. in there.
Oh, I can't wait to this. Can you invite me to the webinar? I want to sit down and watch this.
Yeah, first of all.
Sick.
So this I figured that'd be what we're after, because I've got the ebook anyway. Pictures I put in about what I'm doing. Mindset changes. Then going through the 3 points. And then we move into these doodads, like the number one, like, so option one, do it on your own. Option two, do it with me. And then that's as far as I've got. So the next bit, so the last few slides are like going into a bit deeper, but yeah, that's what I've got so far.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so impressed by that.
Oh,
that is sick. No, but you've taken that and just killed it. Like, that's awesome. That is so sick. That is exactly what you want to do. And the thing is, I was lost in that. So I was like, I want to sit down and I want to watch that. And I didn't even know what it's about. I was just like, that looks sick. I want to, you know what I mean? Like, that's the appealing thing that you want to have. And that's what that kind of template gives you. It gives you the opportunity to just plug and play. So you're not having to come up with your own slides. Like, I hate people that are like, hey, go and create this for yourself, without giving you like a version of it, so at least you can even copy it or modify it just a little bit and get the same result. It's about whatever's going to give you the most confidence and the most ability to go in there and say, cool, well, even if this doesn't go to plan, there's still plenty of things on there. It's just adding things in, and don't get overwhelmed with the 32, right? It's a lot. It's like the same reason why I said, hey, I give you 52 posts. You don't have to do 52 posts. Like, if you just want to do 17 and then call it, just for your first couple to get used to it. And then as long as there's an offer at the end, I just think it would be a waste of an opportunity if you can't offer something at the end, because people are there for you to, because they'll be there and they'll be like, my wallet's open, take my money. Right? That's the mentality you have to think about. Everyone coming into your business and circle is like, even if they don't come off as that, you can't judge a person, right? Like, I've got a call today with someone who's a PT in Christchurch who wants to do what one of my clients do, which is a super expensive package. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this social climate's not going to allow this. Like, I just like, how am I, like whatever. But then I'm like, fuck it. No, I had that second for like 20 seconds and I'm like, the worst thing they can say is no, or the worst thing that can happen is she doesn't turn up. But,
Yeah.
Who cares? You can't judge a person based on the circumstances or the event. So if you go in there and you look at these people and say, okay, well, these people, I know a few of them, some of them look like they're whatever, they may not be able to, and you change your offer because of it. You don't, like most millionaires dress like a poor person, right?
Yeah.
Most wealthy people are actually more wealthy in terms of time and expenditures than actually money. So they're willing to invest in you because they've got that abundance of it. So just think about it. Like even me, when I go into the levels of what I do, I'm gonna sneeze. Wait, I'm not. Am I? Oh fuck! I hate that. So it's about realizing that even at my level and a year ahead of where you are now, you have the same conundrums. It'll just be a high ticket offer. You're always going to get to the point where being like, is this good enough? Like you always second guess yourself. You're always like, do people actually want this? When I made the funnel, I was like, I don't even know if people want this. Like, it's just a really basic funnel. Like, I can't believe someone hasn't even shown this. Like, I messaged everyone, and I was like, a few of them were actually in like Phil's, and a few of them were in other ones. And I'm like, has no one actually showed you how to do this? And they're like, no. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, they don't. No, you get told you have to make a funnel, but nobody shows you how to make a funnel. So what I was saying before, it really annoys me because he's offering the same stuff. Or, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. There's so many of us that don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Again, these are just noises escaping your face at this point. Like, I don't, like, oh, you need, so you get a landing page, you get a funnel. What the fuck is a landing page? And what the hell is a funnel? Like, to me, a funnel is something that you put your pre-workout in to make sure it doesn't go before. That's what we're working on here. And
my
there's
mate,
no explanation.
my mate saw my ad the other day and then literally commented a photo of a funnel because I was talking about a funnel and he commented a funnel. But that's what I mean, man. Like the thing behind it was like, that was just effectively a page where you put a video and some information, and then Zapier, which is something we can get into later, you don't have to worry about it, literally pings it to your app, like my PT, it doesn't work for my PT Hub, but like Trainerize or whatever, and then it pings it down, and then that's all you have to do. It's 2 clicks behind the scenes, and I made a video and I was like, this is how simple it is. And I literally was like, hey, here, like my views on my Vimeo overnight after doing that have gone like 4 times more. So obviously people are watching it, but like, it's just crazy to me. And especially like the webinar side of things. So many people tell you to do webinars, but they don't actually show you and give you the slides because they're like, hey, if we give them everything, they're probably going to leave. But I'm like, I would rather that, because at the end of the day, it only looks bad on one person. It's never going to be you. It's always going to be me. So, like I said, I think that webinar is awesome, man. Like it's realistically like 17 is a really good amount of slides. If you feel like you can't add more and you feel like you're just kind of kicking a dead horse kind of thing, then just tie it in with the offer. I just don't think you should leave a webinar without an offer of some sort. So this could be a free call. This could be, it doesn't have to be paid at all. It could be free. Like, hey, I want to give you 2 free body transformation phone calls, just like I did. They're normally valued at whatever your hourly rate is, which is now £100 at least, if not more. So it should be at least that number, but 97 looks a lot more cleaner than 100. But then also those things that I did and broke down the costs, they're your hourly rate. So this is how you work out the actual value. So when people say there's money, it's just actually breaking down their hourly value. So however long it would take you to create that is how much you should charge for it, effectively, in your hourly rate. So your hourly rate is 100. We want that to be like 200 by the next couple of months, just because your valuable time is only going to go, your lack of time is only going to go up for these kind of things, because you want to spend more time with your family and loved ones. So your price has to represent that. So I would do one more challenge and then look at trying to your price to be different as well. But again, if it's keen, if it's good, it's fine. But I think the webinar is going to be a really, really key athlete, because we can do those every single month. Like they're things that don't require anything apart from you. So they're not like challenge dependent, they're not people dependent, or they are in terms of signups. But even if you get 1 or 2 people in there, you can still film it and use it as content anyway. So it's not wasted time. This is why I love webinars so much. no matter what happens, you're not wasting any time because you're still going to use that content later on. And to finish off what we want to talk about, I want you to start, if not already, recording conversations with your clients. Like, you can tell them if you want to, don't tell them if you need to, you don't legally have to do any of that. But it's just about, the biggest, think about in your client's point of views, what are the 3 biggest objections from working with you? And that's the biggest question I want to ask you now. Now that we've got all the fundamentals right, it's about digging deep and saying, although we don't want to think about it, what realistically are the 3 objections? Like for me, it's price, time, commitment, all the time, because I'm always expensive. I'm always asking a lot for their time. And I'm also making them go into situations where they're almost fearful in the commitment, right? They're committed. Are they actually committed to 30 weeks? Are they actually committed to doing the shit that I'm telling them to? Because I will fucking message them if they don't do it. So, it's like those are the 3 objections. And you'll see this on my app. When you go on my app page now, not that you have to, but what I did was made a whole video, not telling them to sign up, but telling them why they wouldn't sign up. Because 80% of those people will land on your page and not do a single thing. So it's better than trying to convert the 80 than trying to convert the 20 that would convert anyway. And we've got 3, we've always got 3 buyers. We have those emotional buyers, we have the logical buyers, and we have the fearful buyers. So when you're creating things, think about those 3. And that's all you have to do. When you're thinking about what kind of content should I produce each week, it shouldn't be what is relevant in my head. It should be, what are my objections? What are the fearful, logical, and emotional buyers thinking? What is the search engine telling us to do? Because that's, again, something I want you to start really, I know it's fucking another thing that's like, what the fuck's a SMO or what's a SEO, all this kind of shit. But the reason why it's more important to do that now is that, for instance, yoga, the search term yoga went up 150,000 searches overnight.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it did. Yeah, because everybody can do yoga from home now.
Yeah, so it's about saying, can we make some topics about keyword searches? Now, that I'm not telling you have to go make a fucking video about yoga, but can we make a video that can have yoga in the title? Because if that's being searched for, they're going to fall across your name. And I know it's kind of like a scapegoat. It's kind of like a little bit of a sneaky little snake in the background, but we need to make some content each week just to hit this SEOs. It's becoming more and more about that now, and you're getting more and more advanced. So my language has to change accordingly to that as well. So, look at the biggest thing I want you to talk about or go away from this call is realize that we have our events, we have our webinars. That's pretty much done. The biggest thing now is like, how can we take advantage of the system? Next call, we're probably going to talk about some like page like campaigns that are really, really low budget. Like I'm talking about $1 mixture, $2 mixture kind of budget, just to get people liking your page. Because if they like your page, they can get to your group, and they're going to be people that want to know your page anyway. Facebook released it, and hardly anyone's doing it right now. That's all I advertise. So you'll go into my ads campaign right now, and literally, if I'm advertising, it's only advertising probably page likes, because my consulting page went from 0 to 3,500 in like a month.
Yeah, sure.
So, and I spent probably $100, so £50. So, an hours of what I would earn got me 3,500 people. And then also that correlates to my group. Then that way, even if they're not really that, or they're really random, they're fucking in Switzerland, they're in Germany, they're whatever, it doesn't matter. It's about the numbers and about, okay, well, if I go into a group and there's 1,000 members, probably going to pay more attention to that group than if there's 100 members. And we can't just say we're going to get 1,000 members by doing all our own work, because an evergreen campaign works when you're sleeping and also works when you're sick.
Sure.
I'm just testing the waters at the end of the call, not the start, because like I said, everything at the end is about what we're going to do next time. So what we're going to do next time is kind of go over that side of things and really develop a system for that. Because again, organic is great, but it's something we can't rely on, but we do not have to spend a lot. Don't think about it, because I'm not bringing that up now. I'm not expecting you to come out with some ads budget money and all that kind of shit. Not the question I'm telling you right now. I just want you to think about it, because we've got too much on our plate to ads anyway. I just want you to think about it, right? It's just that kind of thought in your head and realizing that, okay, well, this is the next step. This is like a month, 2 months away.
That makes sense. I mean, as I said, that it was something that it's always been brought up that at some point we're going to go on to the next stage. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to evolve, and it makes perfect sense. And there will be a time when money has to be put on the table to do things. And in the nicest possible way, it's only going to pay back dividends in this uncertainty at the moment. So it makes sense. I mean, now that, if things go right, I've managed to get, I should get a rent holiday because my landlady is going to take a mortgage holiday. So with that extra money at the moment, if I play it right, I mean, the thing is, even if I carry on making money as it is and I can apply for statutory sick pay, I'll use that fucking money to make ad budgets. Like, if I don't need to use it, I will fucking, if I can leech the system from these assholes that I've paid enough goddamn taxes, if I can get some money back, I'm going to use it to make some money.
So, I pay tax this month, I think. Oh, no, next month. Fuck.
Yeah, I got to do a tax return. Bastards.
I have give us a holiday, surely.
Yeah, I've earned nothing due to coronavirus. So
yeah, I'm filing a nil return.
Yeah, that's it. I've actually made a loss, like a colossal loss. So you're gonna have to do that for me.
Well, actually, if this makes you feel any better, I lost 65k in a day on science contracts. So that's what, like £30,000. So I had two contracts out for negotiation for clients that were signing onto my top level stuff. So I need to have them. They've signed my DD, so I do kind of have them by the balls, but they didn't sign their confidentiality agreement for their trademarks and all this kind of stuff. So I'm being lenient because of the coronavirus, but I had both of those out, and they were about to sign them, and then Jacinda Ardern went national and said, "Hey, we're going from 2 to 4 in 48 hours," and I'm just like, and then I got two emails from them, and I'm like, I've never seen that much money go up in smoke so quickly in my life.
I don't even know what emotion to use right now.
I'm just like, cool. got the wine out of the fridge, just poured the whole bottle into a cup and sat down and said, sick.
So learn how to torpedo a bottle of wine. And
I think that night, the last 2 days, I've probably gone through like a bottle and a half a night. Probably I've turned into a minor fucking alcoholic. I'm probably going to be. My mate here, he's got like 4 bottles of beer. So
yeah, I've got a shit rum in the cupboard under my sink.
Unreal.
And I'm getting weaker by the day. I mean, it's lucky my kids aren't here because, I mean, when they come back, that shit's going to get opened every night. Like, Daddy, what are you doing? Preparing myself for the day to come, children. Preparing myself for the day to come.
No, I think we need to make it on a, can't really, because no, that's 10 a.m. for me. I think our podcast, we need to have alcohol in it for the next 4 weeks.
Why not? I said I was going to do this for like some of the parents. I was going to make a virtual pub on Zoom. And we could just all sit around with a drink and discuss stuff. Like, I mean, I swear to God, me and the owner of my gym was like, could you imagine our conversations if we had alcohol? I'm like, people will come hunting for me. If I've had a few rums and I'm being in my usual mode when I get a few rums, if I'm going full pirate, I don't give a shit. I'm be telling everybody that.
Right, our podcast would go off after that. We'll just get unfiltered. I think we just changed the name to Off the Clock Unfiltered, even though it's explicit anyway. I think people just know that shit.
Change that much, but we're just going to be less politically correct.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, anything else before we finish up?
Yeah, I tried the funnel. I put my details in, and I didn't receive any email or anything. Is that because it's not
so I haven't made it live yet. Yeah. So what I need to do is 2 questions. Your login for your GoDaddy account didn't work. It keeps saying that it was invalid of some sort. So I don't know whether it's because I can't get onto the UK side of things or something. I don't know. But if we get on another call, either over the weekend or even tomorrow, maybe after the podcast, and we maybe run through it, then I can get you hosted from there. The second is that I don't know what side of what email service do you use?
For all work, it's Outlook.
Okay, so I might make you a SendGrid account because it's free for the first 2,000 subscribers anyway. But we have to do that together on a Zoom because you would have to get a confirmation email and all this other shit. And then pretty much, all we do is I'll put one of my autoresponders sequences in there. It's literally just like here's your ebook, here's a workout, and then I'll give you my autoresponders for the 7 days that I would normally use. I'll send it over to you in a Word file. You change what you want to send it, like to make it you, and then I'll do it back, and then it'll just be 7 days worth of emails. So
yeah, I actually did a mini one with that with Aweber. When I did my ebook in the first place, I did have a set of responders on it, but then this is obviously when I was working with the wonderful Mr. Graham, and then my soul floated away very, very gently after I had a shit month and got no support, and I've just kind of left it dormant. But it was funny because a few people did actually download the ebook and they enjoyed it because it was a very simple, like 8-stage step to just losing weight and stuff. And then even that's how actually I got into talking more with that lady in North Carolina. So she's actually been quite interesting because she found my page, she liked it. I did my ebook, she read it. She's actually gave me some feedback and said it was quite funny reading it because she goes, obviously, you're English, so your words you use are very different to what we use. And I found myself laughing because I sort of imagined this like English butler or this Cockney guy talking about Pepsi Max and stuff. And then she brought into the challenge. So it's been she's been a really interesting journey because it was quite cool because I have no chance of meeting her unless I literally go to America. But she's massively bought into my message all the way through. So it's really interesting. Like there's a lot of social proof and there's a lot of confirmation of what I'm doing works. It's now just figuring out what that formula is rather than going, oh, well, what I'm doing works, so I'll keep doing it. It's like, right, what exactly is it that I'm doing? I think a lot of it from the feedback I've got from the phone calls is they were like, so one of them was like, the reason I like what you do is because there's just a confidence when you talk. You talk like you know what you're talking about, and it makes me feel comfortable accepting what you're saying. So that was one client. She goes, when I saw your video and you just spoke like, this is what it is, this is how you feel. And she goes, and I like that because there was no like, oh, maybe not. It was definite. Another one was like the fact that, you know, you're taking the time to talk to me for an hour. Nothing's ever off limits. You know, if we need to take longer, we need to. It's like, it feels like I'm getting more value than I should. And then I think the other one was, it's just like the fact that you're very open and honest. You know, there's nothing hidden. The agenda's always about helping people. You'll tell people when you're having a shit day so people know that you're human. So those are the three elements. I suppose, like thinking about it now, that's kind of the thing. My videos are very to the point and I talk like I know what I'm talking about because I've taken time to learn it. I'm willing to give people the value that they are paying for and beyond. And I'm very honest and open and have no issue with other people being honest and open. So I think that's, if I can figure out how to compound that into a ball and push that, then probably be on to a winner.
Yeah, so that's the most important part is how much do we gather? Like the biggest thing, we're going to, after we've got these two things running, the webinar and the challenge, I'm just going to go ask you to be a hunter-gatherer. Go ask all your clients for testimonials, go ask all your clients for two referrals. We can pay them commissions if they need to, whatever the fuck we need them to do. Because the biggest thing that people don't do is they get to where you are and they're not asking enough from their clients. Like testimonials, like, you know, how simple was it for me to ask you? And then you did a tremendous testimonial. That is just like the best thing I could possibly ask for. And if I didn't ask you, you necessarily never would have given it to me because you didn't have to.
Yeah. See, I've had trouble with that because I've asked for testimonials before and I've gotten some written ones and they're great.
So that you tie it into your call. So you say, hey, we're just going to spend 20 minutes after our call on Zoom talking about it, record it, done. It's
that's like, what I need to do because I asked, I mean, one of my clients, she gave me a glowing testimonial, but I swear to God, it was like somebody had her at gunpoint when she did it on this video. And I said to her, I was like, Karen, thank you so much for what you said, but I can't post this video. She was like, was it bad? I said, it wasn't that it was bad. It was just like somebody had a knife to your throat. Like, I in no way am being forced to say these things.
Yeah, I've had some of those.
I am fine.
Yeah, but I will. I'll shoot some content. And I'll make some scripts up for testimonials as well, which will help you and help the client be more understanding. But again, it's just I can send you some as well. And I've got clients. I use testimonials like Ryan's testimonial. Who he went flipped. He was like the best client. Then he turned around and it was the most. I've never met a more crazy person in my entire life. But I'll still use his testimonial because what he was saying at the time was relevant. So it's about making sure that those things exist as well. Cool. Anyway, Alex is like messaging me saying we're 5 minutes late. Get the fuck off the call.
Yeah, it's my bad. Cool. Right, no worries.
So it's fine. But like I said, we've got the webinar, we've got the thing. I'll put that on the portal for you as well. So if you check in like half an hour, that should be live. And then if there's any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, you can bring it up tomorrow before or after the podcast. Otherwise, sweet. Good work.
Yeah, sweet.